Hello, and welcome to part three of how to become a great leader. Let me just share my screen and we'll get straight into it because we are all busy bees. So, part three is all about start with who you are. So, the context you've been promoted because you're great at what you do, you've been doing all the right things, but you see yourself as a leader, but others might not yet. And you might suddenly feel imposter syndrome or really out of your depth as we sit at a new table. And this is the last piece here, is what we're going to start to address today. So, three workplace career transitions, worker, manager, leader. The difference between a manager and a leader is an identity shift. We talked about this in the evolution of leadership mastery in part one. We talked in part two about the fact that leaders think like owners. If you were the owner of this business, what would you do differently? If you only take away one thing, that is a really important perspective to take to what you do. Because owners care about the four R's: revenue, retention, risk, and reputation. That's what we covered in part two. This is from my framework, Leadership by Design. And in part two, we don't usually start with something that sits under here. This is Capability by Design, which is actually part six, where we talk about thinking like a leader. And what I want to talk to you today is where we do usually start. And this is Purpose by Design, where we talk about who you are. So part three is all about start with you. So first of all, what do companies get wrong? They throw capability training at a level which needs an identity shift. So they try and tell you how to negotiate, how to do this, how to do that. They tell you to go kind of deeper into the industry and the capabilities that you already have. Then they perhaps push you towards the gap on an org chart. I found this. This is exactly what happened to me. And perhaps they try and mold you into what they need you to be. These things are not going to help you become a great leader. That is what companies get wrong. The truth is that I have studied the world's best leaders and I've worked with some incredible ones as well. And what makes them stand apart, the biggest thing is that they start with who they are. They don't show up despite who they are. They identify who they are. They identify their zone of genius or their ikigai, which is a Japanese concept known as reason for being, and they lean in to who that person is. Why do they do that? Because this is where we naturally thrive. So, yes, we can enhance ourselves a little bit. We can grow into areas that perhaps we were less confident in before. But ultimately, we still need to come back to what we're interested in, what we love, what we're good at naturally, where we thrive, what we can get paid for, and what the world needs. And the reason that we start here is because this builds confidence. This creates unshakable foundations. So remember, I said in the previous part, when I work with my clients to get them into leadership, I don't just aim for confidence, I aim for this place called quiet certainty. Quiet certainty can only be achieved when we have unshakable foundations. And the first and most important part of creating unshakable foundations is to start with you, because that means we stop having to prove ourselves. It means we feel good. It means we are showing up within our zone of genius. And I know this to be true because I did it. This was the biggest game changer for me. I used to be terrified in meetings. I used to sit there and I'd go bright red when it was my turn to speak, and my heart would be like pounding out of my chest. I would shake, I'd be sweaty, all of the things, until I accidentally did this work, which is a long story for another time. But I did this work, and then suddenly I came into meetings as the person that I am, not the one I was trying to be, not the person that was trying to fit into the gap on the org chart. I came in as me, and that changed the game. Suddenly, I wasn't so nervous anymore. I wasn't terrified about what people might think or say or questions they might ask me. I didn't have to over prepare because I was so nervous about not knowing the answer. I sat there in this place of quiet certainty. I didn't have to be the loudest in the room. I didn't have to shout all my ideas. I was a calm, quiet authority. And this is what we want to get you to. So the next question, of course, is how do you get there? So I have created, and the link to YouTube is just there, a guided visualization from one of my modules, which is called Purpose by Design. So this is available for free on here. So go back into my account or profile, whatever you call them, and look for this guided visualization Purpose by Design. So what I do in this section is I take you through a guided visualization which helps you to define where you want to be in 3 years' time. The reason this is important is because doing it as a guided visualization means we can tune in to your subconscious. So a lot of us have been showing up and going through life with expectations from other people on us. Maybe it's parents, teachers, friends, family, whatever. What we do here is we tune back into what you want. Sometimes it's Hollywood that has a thing on that has an influence on who we want to be. Sometimes it's Disney. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter. We work through that. This is all for free, by the way. This is a freely available video. And then I ask you some reflection questions, and we go deep into what you're good at, what you love, what you can get paid for, and what the world needs. This is part one. That is part one. Who are you, and what do you want? We start with you. The second part is about building vitality. So then we look at the 9 key pillars of health: nutrition and gut health, exercise and movement, sleep and rest, self-love, sex and pleasure, connection, the nervous system, your environment, and lastly, cyclical and seasonal living. And the reason why we start here is because great leaders feel good from the inside. And what we do at this point is we look at, you score yourselves out of 10 for where you are in each of those 9 key pillars. And then we look at what 10 out of 10 would look like for each one of those. Again, if you don't want to do this, then you don't have to, you can just have a go now. But what I would say is and the same with these questions here, you can literally just answer these 4 questions here. But if you really, truly want to become a great leader, you need to spend more than 5 minutes on these things. These are not quick fixes. You can't hack your way to great leadership. What you can hack your way to is me telling you what you need to do. But ultimately, you need to reflect deeply and spend the time thinking about the answers to these questions and many, many more that sit behind this. So ultimately, what we want to answer is the question, who are you? And that is what these 4 questions start to do. Then we talk about how you show up. Great leaders feel good from the inside. There is a reason why people take a lot of time to intentionally design their morning routine. Perhaps it includes, well, not perhaps, I know. It will include movement. It will include nutrition. It will probably include space and silence and time to meditate. It will probably include gratitude in some form. All of these things, we know how important these things are to make us feel good. And before we've even started doing that, ideally that would happen after a good sleep, a good quality sleep. So everything that I've covered is in my book, Promotion Isn't the Point: How to Move from Manager to Leader by Mastering Your Craft. That's who you are and what you do, which we just talked about, yourself and your systems first. So if you don't want to buy the book, go first of all and listen to the guided visualization from Purpose by Design. That is step one. Show up, listen to who you are. Don't overthink it. Just tune back into your subconscious and get clear on who you are. Then if you found that useful, go ahead and buy the book. It is $14.99 from Amazon. The link to buy it is there, or just search Promotion Isn't the Point by Tessa Grin. I cannot tell you enough. This is the book I wish I had 6 years ago, because it tells you exactly what you need to do to become a great leader and how to do it. By mastering your craft, what you do, yourself, who you are, and your systems, how you get there. And the reason that I talk a lot about that is because I am not a coach. I don't just coach leaders, I engineer them. Yes, there is coaching in what I do, but a lot of the time we fall back to our systems, our structure, and our process and our ritual to get you to the person that you want to become. And this is what I help you to put in place, because real leadership is calm under pressure, influential without volume, and magnetic through presence, not noise. And that is the product of architecture. It's systems, structure, rituals, and psychology engineered with intention. Like I said, I've got 20 years experience in marketing and leadership development across real estate, finance, and tech. So I know a little bit about this now. And this isn't another leadership model, it's a new era because the world doesn't need more coaches, it needs architects of excellence. So if you're ready, let's begin. Drop me a message to tessa@tessagrint.com if you want to have a chat deeper or further. And if not, then go and have a look and go and watch the Purpose by Design free YouTube video, which is the next step on from this video. So that is essentially part 4. So all that's left to say is thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found that valuable. Go watch the guided visualization. Ask yourself those questions. Reflect on the answers, and then I hope I will see you again at some point in the future. And if you wanted to go deeper, of course, drop me a message to tessa@tessagrint.com. Thank you so much. Bye.